Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a full face of trying new to me products. There are some things that I picked up recently. I just wanted to give a shot and I figured I'd just try them all in one video. I have the Milani primer that just came out, the L'Oreal, this is the Lumi Le Glow tint, but I also have some things that have been in my drawer of shame that maybe it's just time to pull out, like my M Cosmetics highlight, M Cosmetics blush. There's a lot of things here. I'm going to be doing a full face and giving my opinions on all of it. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around. But with all that, I'm going to pull you in closer and we're going to get started. All right. I'm having a day. So I'm hoping that playing with new makeup is really going to just get me up and moving and a little bit more motivated. I have just been really tired today. So the first thing that I want to try is this Milani primer. I talked about this in a Will I Buy It and it just really looked interesting. I love that it has this little spatula on the top. So we're going to see what this is all about. Here's what the little spatula is attached. I love it so much. Let's see what this is gonna look like. Okay, it's purple. I like purple. I'm gonna scoop it out. I do prefer like more of a pore blurring primer, something that just kind of gives me a little bit more filling to my face. Mattifies a little bit, especially because I'm gonna be going in with a glowier foundation. I don't know what I was thinking when I purchased this foundation. I think I was thinking that this is new and I just want to try it. So it's really cooling on the skin. I like how it feels. It doesn't feel very silicone-y right off the bat. So I don't know how much actual pore blurring it's going to do, but it's not one of those primers where you really need to spot prime, because I do get like enlarged pores right here on the tops of my cheeks. But the downside to that is it doesn't really look like it filled in those pores at all. So I don't know what this serves. I'm gonna maybe take just a teeny tiny bit more and go at the tops of my cheeks. Maybe try to press it in more and see if that kind of helps to fill it in. And then I'm going to let that sit because it does feel wet. I'm really comparing it to the Tarte Smoothing Primer because that you can really feel acts like spackle and just fills in. This still feels kind of wet. I don't even know the claims to this, so maybe this is not a pore blurring primer at all. Blur Out Smoothing Primer. Okay, well, we're going to see about that. Maybe with the foundation, I'll see a little bit more blur, but since I'm trying a new foundation as well, it's going to be a little bit tough to actually see what the primer does. It's feeling fine now that I let it set for about a minute or so. So we'll just see how it goes. I'm going to have to try all of these products multiple times because when you're trying a full face of new things, it's going to be hard to pinpoint what's doing what. Now, the foundation that I kind of alluded to is this one. This is the L'Oreal Lumi Le Glow Tint. If you know anything about me, I don't love glowy foundations, ultra dewy foundations. So why did I pick this up? I don't know. I picked up the shade 120. And I just didn't feel like doing a dedicated review wear test on this because it's not the type of foundation I normally go for. I thought it would be best to kind of do it in a full face of new makeup. So let's just try this out. Now, the first thing I'm seeing, because the bottle is really small, I just checked it. This is not 1 fluid ounce. It's 0.84 fluid ounces. Not a big deal to me, but a little bit surprising that it's less than a fluid ounce. It's super runny and it's looking a little warm for me. Let's see if it will be thin enough to kind of blend in with my skin tone. I'm just going to use a sponge because I'm just playing around with makeup right now. Like I said, I had a hard time motivating myself today. Finally, it needed to get up and just get moving. And I wanted to play with some new stuff, not some stuff I necessarily quote unquote needed to do, needed to test out or anything. So this is kind of like two birds with one stone because yes, I do need to try out these products, but they weren't top of my priority list to try out for you guys. It is very thin. I don't think it's looking too warm. I usually only go in with one pump of foundation, but I think I'm gonna need two. It's very liquidy and I don't know if I love that. I kind of like a thicker foundation, but it's not actually as glowy as I was kind of thinking it was going to be. You know what I think it is actually is it doesn't have like that sweaty glow. It looks to me that it has more of that metallic-y glow, kind of like a Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter. I don't think this is supposed to be one of those products. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be an actual foundation, but it doesn't look bad. It's not emphasizing my pores. That could be the primer. Just gonna take the rest off the back of my hand here and continue to blend this out. It is showing up a little bit warm on my skin, especially now for winter. I think in summertime it'll be fine, but I just get so pale. I lose any color I have left in my body during winter time. It makes it a little bit tough for my foundations. I usually add a lightener to every foundation during winter time, but I'm not going to do that for this one. We're gonna roll with it. Okay, I'm pleasantly surprised by this. Whether that's the primer just kind of toning this down or the actual foundation, I don't think it's overly glowy like I was kind of assuming this would be. Definitely more of like a metallic glow though. So if you don't like that, I would stay away from this. Now we're gonna move on to primer. I picked something out of my drawer of shame. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I don't think that I picked up the original, but I figured while I'm trying some new stuff, let me also pull some stuff out from my drawer of shame. Give this one a try. I don't remember what everyone thinks of this concealer actually. I think it's polarizing. Some people love it, some people hate it. Let me know if you like this concealer. I definitely wanted to go with the more hydrating one because I believe that the original is very matte, kind of like supposed to be a dupe for Tarte Shape Tape. And that just did not sound like something I would like. But then they came out with the hydrating version and it's so inexpensive that I ended up just picking it up. I think I actually picked it up when I picked up the blue color corrector from e.l.f. And I just added it to my cart. And the shade that I picked up, let's see, is light ivory, but it seems to be, I don't know, I wouldn't call this light ivory. Should have gone down another shade, I think. It matches my skin tone, but it's not brightening, which is fine. I don't know how much this is covering. I'm gonna add just a little bit more because you can still see like the dark lines. And I can tell you I definitely got enough sleep today. You know, it was one of those days where you actually get too much sleep. I think that was my problem. I stayed in bed a little bit too long and then it just all went downhill. And that's why I had a hard time just getting up, getting moving. It helped a little bit. I thought it was going to be a little bit more full coverage, to be honest. It doesn't look bad. Like, this is acceptable. I'm not looking for a complete full coverage every single time. Like, I'm fine going out in public like this. I guess I just kind of thought it was going to be a little bit more full coverage. It's not looking heavy or cakey though. It's for a hydrating concealer. It's more matte than the foundation. I don't think that's a surprise though. Okay, I'm liking how my base looks, actually. It's looking nice. Let's see if we ruin it with the powder. The powder is new. I also talked about this in a Will I Buy It, and it's one of the things I'm most excited for. I don't know why I was so intrigued by this powder, but it's the Laneige Neo Essential Blurring Finish Powder. So it's supposed to blur, oil control, and smooth. I picked this up on Amazon. Everything will be linked down below if I can link it. Here's what this looks like. I am not like a huge powder person, like someone who gets excited about a powder, but I don't know. This one just seemed really cool and unique. So it kind of comes in like this cushion compact. You have this, and then, okay, maybe it is like a cushion. You pull this up. Pressing too hard or unevenly on the net may cause the powder to spill out. To prevent leakage, make sure there is no excess powder left on the net and close lid securely after use. Okay, I'm afraid to like open it like this, but we're gonna do it. It's green. Interesting. I don't know if I was expecting it to be green, but let's just try it. I'm gonna use it all over my face. Oh shit. Did you see? That scared me. Okay. You want to press it evenly like it says, or else it flies everywhere. So lesson learned, but this doesn't feel like a net. It feels like plastic. So that's why I was a little bit confused. Okay, I have a lot of powder on puff here. So I'm just going to kind of gently pat so it doesn't all go in one spot. I'm going to just do half my face. See if we can tell a difference. So here's the powder on this half of my face. This side has no powder. Definitely mattifies, definitely blurs exactly like it claims. So I'm actually really happy. I like the finish even more, and it definitely blurred the tops of my cheeks. That's one of my biggest concerns that I look for. Like I said, I just have enlarged pores here. So I like it. I like it a lot. I think that this could be a really nice travel kind of oil powder. But you need to be careful. Don't do what I did, and make sure you actually read the instructions and then follow the instructions to do it evenly. So I am just now gonna quickly set the other side of my face, even this out, and then we will move on to bronzer. Bronzer, blush, and highlight all also came from my drawer of shame. So for bronzer, it is the YSL All Hours Hyper Bronze. I have the shade 2, which is Buff Dune. I have been really excited to try this and then never got around to it. So today is the day. It is a matte bronzer. Compact looks like this. Really nice, really luxe. Like it a lot. I don't know if this is refillable or not, but this is what the bronzer looks like. So let's just go in and apply it. I wanted to pick a matte bronzer only because the rest of the products that I picked are a little bit more on the glowy side. And especially with the foundation, I didn't want it to be too glowy. It's very hard pressed, like there's no powder kick up. I've been really enjoying YSL products. I kind of want to try one of their blushes, but I really don't need to, so I do think I'm going to pass on it. But blushes look really pretty. YSL has quickly become one of my more favorite luxury brands. Surpassed Dior, surpassed Chanel. I think that this is probably conversation for a different video, but Chanel and Dior, I think, have just been the top of the luxury game for so long that I think that they've kind of gotten a little lazy. And now we're seeing the rise of these other luxury brands who are actually just delivering more. YSL being one of them, Dolce & Gabbana being one of them. I don't know. It's kind of just what I've been thinking, like the products have actually been better. This is nice. Again, it's shade 2, so it is going to be a little bit lighter. I tend to go very heavy-handed with my bronzer, so I will pick a lighter shade just so it doesn't get out of control too quick, which normally it still does. But here's what the bronzer's looking like. Really nice packaging. It's very heavy, very weighted. And then for blush and highlight, I decided to finally pull out my M Cosmetics. So I have the Heaven's Glow Radiant Veil Blush in the shade Magic Hour. And then I have the highlight in Clarity. I think that I've just been holding off trying both of these products because I planned on doing a full face of M Cosmetics and then I just never got around to it. And I still wanted to do that. I still could maybe do that video. Let me know if you'd be interested because I think I do have a full face of all of their products. But yeah, other things came out, they got pushed aside and I never got around to it. So here's what the blush looks like. Again, this is the shade Magic Hour. It is a radiant blush, not usually my favorite, but M Cosmetics aesthetic always gets me. So I used to, in the past, just buy their products because of the aesthetic and not necessarily looking at whether it was a product I would really like, hence the glowy blush. We're gonna see. I've heard really good things about the blushes. I just don't want this to be like the Rare Beauty. The Rare Beauty blushes, those highlighty blushes, they scare me, honestly. Like, I don't understand how people think that it looks flattering. I'm not saying it doesn't look flattering. I'm just saying, as someone who hasn't tried it, I'm scared of them. Maybe it's just because, like I said, I'm very self-conscious of my enlarged pores, so I'm afraid it would really emphasize it. This color is really pretty. But a lot of people really enjoy those blushes, so it could just be a me problem. I actually like this a lot more than I thought. It's pretty. Maybe it's just with the matte bronzer, it's not looking like super highlighty. Let me look up close. No. It gives definitely like a glow, but not a highlight. It's very buildable. This is really pretty. I also thought it was going to be very, very peachy. And it is. It's a peachy blush, but it's pulling a little bit more neutral than I thought it was as well. This is a surprising favorite. I like this a lot. Let's go into the highlight now. Like I said, I have the shade Clarity. Same type of packaging, but this is more of a shiny finish. This is more of a matte finish. And here is what it looks like. I don't love how bulky this is. Like, it's very thick. I wish it was a little bit thinner, but I understand that this is domed because it's a baked highlight. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just nitpicking. This looks very, very highlighty. So let's just see. I'm not going to put too much on. Oh yeah, that's metallic. That is very, very metallic. I don't know if it's picking up. Okay, we're going to go soft. I thought I was going to like highlight more than the blush, but this is just a highlight where you have to be really careful. Like, it just gets out of control really fast, and I prefer like a little bit more user-friendly products where I don't have to worry about that too much. It's still pretty. I mean, it's very pretty. I just could see myself going overboard if I'm not paying attention. Let me do a quick swatch, actually, of the highlight as well as the blush so you can see them swatched on my hand here. It really is not. So there's the highlight, there's the blush, and then let's do the bronzer too, just for good measure. There we go. The bronzer and blush are very just nice powders. They're buildable. They're light enough where you don't really go overboard. The highlight, on the other hand, is very, very blinding, and it picks up very easily. There was no kick up in my brush, but immediately, like I could tell it could get stripy just really fast. But now we've done the base, let's go to eyes. I don't have too much of a plan for the eye makeup. I just know that I want to try this. This is the About Face Matte Fluid Eye Paint in Smells Like Rain, Smell Before Rain. I picked this up at Ulta when I was visiting America back in January. And everyone talks about these About Face Fluid Eye Paints. I really just like this color, but I don't know how it's going to translate on the eyes, which is why I don't know what I'm going to put on top of it, because it is like this very, very cool tone brown. So I'm a little nervous, and it pulls, like on camera, it pulls green almost. It's interesting, but it is like a light saddle color almost is kind of how I would describe it. I am going to, I think, just work off the back of my hand. I'm going to use the brush that I always use my cream products with. It is somewhat clean. I wiped it off. It should be fine. So I'm just going to pick up some on the back of my hand. I've never tried these. Let me know if you've tried these, if you love them. I feel like some people, they like collect every single color of them. That's how much they love them. But I tend to find that I don't use colored kind of primers. That's how I look at this. Color bases as much as my fantasy self thinks that I would. But I could see this color at least being a really nice one and done. It's not, putting down a purple base to make purple shadows pop or something like that. It's just a nice neutral. And kind of gives like this really nice contour to the eye. I can already tell that this probably dries down pretty quickly, like I'm having trouble moving it around, which is fine. I think there's enough playtime, just maybe I need to work off the wand rather than the back of my hand. It's pulling much less cool tone on my eye, so I think I'm going to go with my original idea and use this Urban Decay single. This is in the shade Diamond Dog. They released this maybe like a year ago, and I immediately wanted it, but they only had it on the Urban Decay website. So when it finally came to Ulta, I also picked this up. I'm super excited for this shade here. It's supposed to be like a dark taupey. I just was worried that this wasn't going to go with the eyeshadow base. So here's what it looks like. This is kind of built up. I kind of want to see if I can just tap it and just get some sparkle. I don't want something like too dark and smoky. So let's see if we can do that. Just get that Urban Decay sparkle. Something really simple but impactful. What do you think? I do have Space Cowboy. I guess I could go find it in my drawers and do a little comparison for you. I can do that so you can see both. I'm sure they're very similar, honestly. This one might just have more of a base and the other one probably has more sparkle. But I cannot resist taupe and I can't resist shimmer. I think this is really pretty. I like this a lot, actually. Love it. Absolutely love it. I grabbed Space Cowboy just so we can compare. This looks to be a little bit pinky peach. Yeah, I mean, I would say if you have Space Cowboy already, do you need to like rush out and get Diamond Dog? Probably not. This also is way more packed with shimmer. Like, look how much more reflective it is. And I have my lights on the very lowest setting. I'm trying to use natural light more just so you can see better. But here's Diamond Dog and here's Space Cowboy. Wow, it's reflective. There's something about this one though. This is like more evening. This is the older sister to Space Cowboy, more sophisticated. And Space Cowboy is definitely like the younger, fun, shiny sister. So I'm happy to have both, but I wouldn't say you necessarily need both. Now I just have lips left, which I'm also very excited for. I'm already feeling better, if you can't tell. I feel like I was very monotone at the beginning. Makeup just solves a lot of problems, and that is why I decided to just get my butt in gear, put some makeup on. Okay, for lips, we're using the Valentino. This is the Spike Valentino Matte in Couture in the Streets. The names were so fun for this. I also picked this up when I was in Arizona shopping with my sister. We are bad influences on each other, and I wasn't going to pick this up, but the packaging is so luxe. Again, going back to luxury, like this is a luxury product that I can feel the luxury the entire experience. We're gonna check out the formula. I don't love a matte formula, but I could not resist just how weighted and slim this is. This is refillable. So I think that, yes, I can take this out if I wanted and change the shade and keep the component. So that's really nice. But let's just see what this does. I mean, the Dior packaging, the Chanel lipstick packaging has nothing on this. I'm gonna kind of go very light, like almost blotty. I don't want a full swipe of color. Might have to fix my lip line. I like how thin it is because I could turn it around and really kind of use it as a liner. It feels pretty comfortable for being a matte. It definitely has like a moussey aspect, which is my favorite kind of matte lipstick because it tends to just be a little bit less drying. Kind of just perfect it a little bit, maybe off camera, like way close in the mirror. But this is all of my new products to try. So let me go do my brows and mascara off camera. Then I'm gonna come back and we're just gonna summarize my thoughts on all of these new products. Rest of my makeup is on and I have some thoughts now that it's kind of settled in. I had some time to look really close in the mirror. So I think we're gonna go backwards from the way that I applied it. Starting with the lipstick, I'm really happy I picked this up. Is it something that I needed? Absolutely not, but I really do like the color. It's actually a comfortable matte. If you want to splurge on a luxury lipstick, I think this one is worth it. Like I said, I'm really excited that it's refillable, so I could pick up different shades and not have to spend the money to get a new component. Really worth the experience. I'm very happy with it. Moving on to eyes, I'm pleasantly surprised by this eye paint. I was a little bit worried. For some reason, I kept coming back to it when I was in Ulta. I almost picked it up last May, the last time I was in America, and I didn't. So this time in January, I kept going back to it, and I was like, just get it. It's not that expensive relatively to some other products. I think these are about $16. I've heard good things. The shade is what made me the most nervous, but on the eyes, it was a lot less cool tone greeny than I expected, and I think it looks really nice with this look. Do I regret this Urban Decay little single shadow that's way overpriced? Absolutely not. I think this is so pretty, and I really enjoy the eye look. It was so simple, but it feels really pretty. Like I could see just throwing this on for a date night for dinner or something like that and having it be really sparkly. And just, I'm overall very happy with this combo. So those were the eye products. My most disappointing, I think, are the M Cosmetics. And maybe it's just because they've been sitting in my drawer of shame for so long. But this was one where, you know, the blush I wasn't that upset about when I was actually applying it, but seeing it up close, it is very radiant. And it is called Heaven's Glow. It advertises itself as a radiant blush. So that's purely on me, but it is very radiant. It's pretty. I just think that I need to, when I'm wearing this, not wear highlighter because the combination of the highlight with the blush is just too much. The highlight is very pretty. Not upset with the highlight. I don't think I'd buy another one, but it is very blinding. So just the combination between the two is what I don't like about my makeup the most today, but I could see it working out in a different scenario. The bronzer, I don't know. This one's the one I'm the most undecided about as far as like my first impressions. I think maybe I need to try it with a blush that I know and love, maybe pull in my Project Pan blush and see how it goes using that because I'm not seeing it as much. I liked it applied. It's light, but not too light. I could kind of go heavy handed with it without getting it out of control, but I'm just not 100% sure if this is like a holy grail formula. This I'll have to really report back. I do always do speed reviews, but this is one that like I think stay tuned for what I actually think of this. Then we go on to the powder. I'm glad I picked this up. It's fun, it's cute. Be very careful, don't spray powder like I did, but I think this will actually come in handy. I like the compact and it did really save the day as far as the foundation goes. It did really blur and mattify a little bit, so I could see it being a really good mattifying on the go primer powder. I have something here. It's like splotchy. I saw it in the viewfinder. It's kind of like the foundation picked up. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Let's continue on. The concealer. I don't know about this concealer either. I do like this concealer. I thought it was okay. Did it do anything life-changing to my under eyes? Not really, but I think this concealer is like $6 or $8. So if you're looking for just a good everyday concealer, I could see this one being a really good option. The foundation, I'll also just need to try more. It definitely helped that I had the powder to set it and make it look a little bit less luminous. I was just a little bit confused on why it looked so metallic-y versus glowy. I don't love that, especially considering it's a foundation. I did read the back of this and it says a lightweight fluid tint that glows like an illuminator and covers like a foundation. So this is meant to kind of be a Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter with a tint. So not my favorite kind of product. I was thinking this was going to be more of a foundation, less of a illuminator. It's a very just weird product for me. I wish they had just kind of stuck with one or the other. Having it be both, I'm just not sure what I think of this, as well as the bronzer. And then lastly, the primer. I'm happy with this. I don't think like it would be a holy grail primer, but I will continue to use it. I think I will actually reach for this more than maybe I'm thinking I will as of right now, mainly because of the spatula. Having the spatula attached to it makes it so user-friendly and easy to travel with or just use it every day. Like I don't have to rummage around drawers looking for something to scoop it with or go into my fingers. So just the fact that it has this like little tiny spatula here, I think I'll actually reach for this more, but I'm not going to rely on this to really fill in my pores. I'm just not, it's not that heavy duty of a blurring primer, but I think it did a decent job. After that though, those were all of the new products that I wanted to test and try. Thanks for coming along with me to just try to brighten up my spirits. It definitely actually worked and I got to try some new products at the same time. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are any of these items things that you plan on picking up or have on your wish list or you already purchased and you love or you hate? Let me know, but this is where I'm going to leave you all. I hope you're having a great one and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.